The most successful African entrepreneurs of the future. Think beyond borders of all kinds. Amongst the most things I wanted to achieve with this platform was to get younger African entrepreneurs to reach out and start talking to each other, doing business deals and partnering to find solutions to Africa's many other challenges. I am not sure if you saw this comment I made during our discussion on partnerships a while back. Here is a secret. The most successful Africans in the future are those who master the ability to partner with Africans from other African countries. Shh! Keep this secret to yourself because there are many enemies out there who will try and stop you from believing this. As an entrepreneur, there are huge benefits for you if Africa can shift its economic narrative to what I sometimes refer as Africanization. We as Africans need to open up this continent to development by Africans. However, this should not be to the exclusion of working with partners from other parts of the world or frustrating potential investors. Have you looked at Africa's numbers lately? Continental Africa has a population of 1.2 billion people and a GDP of $2.8 trillion. It compares quite favorably with India, which has a population of 1.3 billion and a GDP of $2.6 trillion. Assuming a compound annual growth of 5%, Africa's GDP as a continent can reach $30 trillion in 50 years. This is 1.5 times bigger than the US economy today at $19 trillion and 3 bigger than China today, $11 trillion. This is not to suggest that we will overtake China and the US because they will continue to grow naturally. An economy of $2.8 trillion with a population of 1.2 billion people could be leveraged to unleash the type of growth we have seen in China over the last 25 years and beginning to see happen in India under Prime Minister Modi. In 50 years, Africa's population will be close to 3 billion and the economy could be $30 trillion. 2/3 of Africa's population will be under the age of 25. 60% of the population will live in cities, already 37% comparable to China, higher than India's, expected to be world's fastest urbanization from 2020 to 2050. If we can just increase our GDP growth by an additional 2% per annum to 7% and sustain it and manage it well, Africa's future could be remarkable. This could completely do away with the need for any form of international development aid, currently about $60 billion per annum and being cut anyway. When you hear about 5% growth or just 2%, does that seem like a small number? And one we can easily achieve? Maybe, but any serious economist will tell you, not so simple. About 20 years ago, I set off on a remarkable journey. I wanted to do business in Africa as an African. I have set up businesses with entrepreneurs and partners from just about everywhere on this continent, north, south, west, and east. At one time or another, I've worked in every part. Sometimes I've just set up joint venture partnerships, and other times I've just sold or bought something. A global entrepreneur once called me over a planned massive investment he wanted to make in a certain country. Years later he said to me, "You told me I would lose my investment and be left with just my shirt." Then he symbolically took off his shirt. I wished I had been wrong, but my experience with how business worked there, I knew he would lose his money. I have also advised people to make investments in places where they went to look for themselves and were very surprised in a good way. Let me tell you, it won't be easy, but it's easier now than 20 years ago, and will be even easier going forward. There has never been a greater need than now for Africans to reach out to each other beyond tribe, race, and national borders. Do you see Africa rising where you are? Share some of your ideas what must be done, not just by others, by you. From my post, there is something I want you to think about. Here is a secret. The most successful Africans in the future are those who master the ability to partner with Africans from other African countries. Keep this secret to yourself because there are many enemies out there who will try and stop you from believing this. You have to master the ability. This means it will not be easy. Sometimes you will fail and have bitter disappointments in which you say, "I am not going there again. I will never deal with those people again." Then you pick yourself up after months or even years and try again. Hey, it is tough out there. If you are faint-hearted or thin-skinned, don't try it. Better you stay at home. They will fight you all the way. You may even lose your property. As with everything, if we persist, we will win others to our way of seeing things, and gradually change will come. It must come. Indeed, this change is inevitable. I also said, we as Africans need to open up this continent to development by Africans. Let me reflect further and perhaps even provoke you. This is going to be very, very difficult to achieve. There are countries in Africa where they get angry to see people from other regions within their own country come to their area. You know what I am talking about now. So if you have a problem with seeing our fellow countrymen with equal and unalienable rights come to our area within the same country, what will we say about Africans from another country? It will take a strong and courageous leadership supported by determined, enlightened people who believe in our common destiny to break these things. Never accept xenophobia behavior of any kind. Don't turn this into a discussion on what happened recently in South Africa. Take a note and let's move on and fight for change. There is an example from every country I can think of, so let's not go there. Longano writes, India is building up because of national synergy, no borders, no boundaries. China is one of the fastest growing economies. One nation, no exercise duties and embargoes within itself. African nations put together on paper have a sizable GDP, but actually each nation depends on its own industry, blocking business with a neighboring country. If we could systematically open of markets to each other as African economies. My reply, now you understand why I joined the AU Reform Task Force. It's about the prosperity of our people.